Most people are trapped in a cycle where they trade the only thing they can never get back, time, for something they can never seem to keep, money. And the cruel part is, they've been taught to believe that's the only way. And here's the truth. No one ever got rich by selling all their time to someone else's dream. So today, we're going to uncover the habits that turn ordinary income into extraordinary wealth. We're going to uncover the habits, the mindset shifts, and the quiet, consistent actions that build lasting wealth. Let's begin. When I first started out, I quickly learned a simple truth. Your wages make you a living, but your profits make you a fortune. And that distinction, my friends, is the difference between struggling paycheck to paycheck and building true financial freedom. You see, most people fall into the trap of thinking that working harder for more hours or a higher salary will get them rich. They mistake effort for wealth. But wealth doesn't come from labor alone. It comes from ownership, from investments, from putting your money to work so that it begins to generate more money without you being there 24 hours a day. Philosophically, this is a mindset shift. Earned income is finite. It stops the moment you stop working. Profit, on the other hand, is infinite. It multiplies. It compounds. The rich understand this principle, and they make it the foundation of every financial decision. They don't wait to see what's left after paying bills. They prioritize putting money into profit-producing ventures first. It's the habit of paying yourself first, not last, and treating every dollar as a potential seed for growth. Practically, you can start today. Set aside a fixed percentage of your income, 10%, 20%, whatever is reasonable for you, and commit it to assets that produce profit. It could be stocks, bonds, rental properties, a small business, or intellectual property. The key is consistency and discipline. Month after month, these small, deliberate investments begin to accumulate, and over time, they start producing returns that far outpace anything you could earn from additional hours at work. I remember my early days when I set aside just a small portion of my earnings to invest in books, seminars, and small business ventures. At the time, it felt like a sacrifice. But today, those investments have returned not just money, but knowledge, opportunity, and freedom. The habit of creating profit streams changes everything. You stop being a victim of your schedule and start being a master of your resources. Each dollar invested becomes a soldier working for you, compounding quietly, steadily, and powerfully. It also forces you to think like an owner, not just an employee, which naturally guides you toward smarter decisions, bigger opportunities, and higher returns. Remember, working for wages is survival. Working for profits is strategy. Make it a habit. Protect it. Nurture it. And watch as your financial life transforms. True wealth is not earned in a day. It is built through repeated, disciplined actions, through creating streams of profit that work, whether you're at your desk or enjoying life. And so, start today. Pay yourself first. Invest wisely, and let your money begin to make money. That is how fortunes are built. I want you to really hear this. The goal is not more money. The goal is living life on your terms. Most people think wealth is about accumulating dollars, thinking that if they just earn enough, everything else will fall into place. But that's backwards. Money is a tool, a vehicle, a means to an end, not the end itself. The true measure of financial success is freedom. The freedom to choose how you spend your time, where you live, and who you spend it with. It's about designing a life that aligns with your deepest values, not just chasing numbers on a paycheck or a bank statement. Philosophically, this is a radical shift. You see, most people let money dictate their lives. They become servants to their bills, obligations, and routines. The wealthy, however, make money serve them. They are intentional. They think in terms of leverage, assets, and freedom rather than mere income. Money without purpose is a trap. Money with a plan is liberation. When you define what freedom looks like, you stop accumulating for accumulation's sake and start building for autonomy, security, and peace of mind. Practically, start today by writing down exactly what financial freedom means to you. Is it having 6 months of living expenses set aside? Is it owning your home outright? Is it generating enough passive income that you could leave your job tomorrow if you wanted to? Be specific. Give it a number, a timeline, and a vision that excites you. Once you have that clarity, every dollar you earn takes on a new significance. Spending becomes intentional. Investing becomes strategic. Every financial decision, whether it's choosing a side hustle, investing in stocks, or buying an asset, should be measured against this vision. Ask yourself, does this move me closer to freedom, or am I buying temporary pleasure at the expense of long-term liberty? For example, I remember when I first committed to creating streams of income that would eventually cover my living expenses. It wasn't about the numbers on my paycheck. It was about building choices, options, and independence. I redirected my energy, time, and resources toward assets that gave me control over my life, not just my bank account. And over time, those decisions compounded into real freedom. Freedom to travel, freedom to teach, freedom to invest in myself and others. That is the essence of wealth. So, start with clarity. Define what living life on your terms truly means. Align every financial action, earning, saving, spending, and investing with that vision. Money will then cease to control you, and you will begin to command it in a way that supports your ultimate goal, a life of freedom, purpose, and choice. I want you to pay close attention to this truth. If you can't manage $1,000, you can't manage $10,000. Most people believe that wealth begins with a big paycheck, a windfall, or a lottery win. That's a fantasy. Real wealth begins with discipline, the ability to handle what you already have. Money is like a mirror. It reflects your habits, values, and self-control. If you mismanage small amounts, larger amounts will only magnify the mistakes, the stress, and the missed opportunities. True financial power is built incrementally by mastering the little things first. Philosophically, this is critical. Many spend their lives chasing more money while ignoring the foundation of financial mastery. But wealth is not a matter of earning, it's a matter of stewardship. The wealthy understand that money management is the first step toward financial independence. They treat every dollar as an employee that must be directed wisely. If you cannot allocate, track, and grow a small sum, adding more money to your life will only complicate and endanger it. Think of it like learning to drive. You don't start on a freeway, you start in a parking lot. The same principle applies to money. It starts small, then scales. Practically, the habit is simple but profound. Track every dollar you earn, spend, and save. Keep a weekly review where you analyze where money went and why. Identify leaks, those small, unnoticed expenses that silently erode your wealth over time. Then create a spending plan that allocates funds to essentials, investments, and personal growth, and stick to it without exception. Make this discipline automatic. Set up budgets, automated transfers to savings or investment accounts, and alerts that keep you accountable. Start with $1,000 or even $100 and manage it with precision. Over time, the principles remain the same as your balances grow. I remember early in my own journey when I first committed to tracking every dollar. It was humbling. I realized how much slipped through unnoticed. But once I disciplined myself with small sums, I was ready to handle more, much more. When the opportunities arrived to invest, negotiate, or leverage larger sums, I already had the skill set to manage them effectively. Without that foundation, I would have squandered the chance. The same applies to you. Mastery of small amounts breeds confidence, competence, and readiness for real wealth. So, begin with what you have. Track, review, and plan meticulously. Treat your money with respect, even in small amounts. Because managing $1,000 correctly is the gateway to managing $10,000, $100,000, and beyond. Wealth starts with discipline, not income. The question is, will you start today? I want you to hear this carefully. Don't buy luxury until your assets can pay for it. Too many people fall into the trap of lifestyle inflation. Every raise, bonus, or windfall is immediately spent on bigger cars, fancier vacations, or expensive toys. This is the path to perpetual financial stress. Wealth is not measured by what you can spend today. It is measured by the freedom to spend tomorrow without worry. The wealthy understand that luxury is a reward, not a necessity, and it should only be funded by the returns of their assets, not the sweat of their current paycheck. Philosophically, this is the essence of delayed gratification. In every area of life, education, relationships, health, and money, the principle remains. Patience compounds results. The rich recognize that money spent today is potential wealth lost tomorrow. They focus first on building assets, investments, businesses, intellectual property. That generate passive income. Once those assets grow to cover the lifestyle they desire, then they indulge in luxury without guilt or stress. This approach flips the ordinary script. Instead of working for money to pay for desires, they let money work for them to fund desires. Practically, this habit requires a clear, enforceable rule. Any luxury purchase must come from passive income alone. This means the returns from rental properties, dividends, interest, or business profits, not your paycheck, cover the cost. Track your passive income streams carefully. Know exactly how much they produce monthly and allocate them toward discretionary spending only. If your passive income doesn't cover the item, you wait. Waiting is not deprivation. It is strategic preparation. This habit prevents debt, preserves capital, and strengthens your financial independence. Let me share a story from my own journey. Early in my career, I was tempted by a new car, a flashy reward for a hard year of work. But I had committed to funding my investments first. I held off, redirected that money into assets, and within a few years, my investments produced enough returns that I could buy not just that car, but several other luxuries, all funded entirely by my assets. The satisfaction was immense because I knew it wasn't borrowed and it didn't jeopardize my future. That lesson stuck. Luxury earned through assets is freedom. Luxury earned through debt is bondage. So here's the takeaway. Commit to letting your assets fund your lifestyle. Delay gratification, prioritize wealth building first, and use luxury as a reward for strategic financial success. Every purchase should reinforce independence, not undermine it. The moment you apply this principle, you shift from earning money to building real wealth. If you don't control your money will control you. Let me say that again, because too many people miss the depth of it. If you don't manage your money, it will manage you, and it rarely manages you in your favor. Money without direction drifts, slips, and disappears faster than we think. It's like water. Left unchecked, it will seep through the cracks and vanish. Most people earn their money, then let it wander into bills, impulse buys, and forgotten subscriptions. The wealthy understand that control is the first step toward freedom. Money is a tool, not a toy. If you master it, it works for you. If you ignore it, it works against you. Philosophically, this principle is about intentionality. Wealth is not accidental. It is the product of deliberate planning, discipline, and foresight. Every dollar you earn is a soldier. You must assign it a mission before it even enters your hands. Do you want it to build security, create future income, or grow into more wealth? Or will it wander into consumption, debt, and stress? By giving money a purpose, you transform it from a fleeting resource into a powerful ally. Without a plan, your money obeys impulse. With a plan, your money obeys strategy. Practically, the habit is simple but profound. Give every dollar a job before it arrives. Start with your income and immediately allocate it to categories that reinforce your wealth plan: savings, investing, debt repayment, or education. Treat your paycheck like a factory. Raw material goes in, finished product comes out in the form of increased assets and financial growth. Automate this allocation if necessary. Set up transfers to investment accounts, savings accounts, and other wealth-building vehicles. This removes human error, emotional spending, and the temptation to overconsume. Over time, the habit compounds. Every dollar finds its purpose, and every purpose multiplies your financial stability. I remember early in my own life, I treated money carelessly. One check would cover the rent, another would vanish on small indulgences, and my savings were inconsistent at best. When I started giving every dollar a job, the transformation was profound. I knew exactly where each cent was going and why. I wasn't working for money anymore. I was making money work for me. My savings began to grow predictably, investments became intentional, and my wealth started to snowball. The takeaway is clear. Control your money before it controls you. Assign every dollar a purpose. Automate where possible, and watch your finances transform from chaotic to commanding. Master this, and you shift from surviving paycheck to paycheck to building a life of financial freedom and opportunity. Money is a terrible master, but an excellent servant. Think about that for a moment. Most people live as slaves to their money. They worry about bills, chase paychecks, and stress over every unexpected expense. Their money rules them. They work long hours, sacrifice time with family, and make choices out of fear rather than strategy. But when treated correctly, money becomes your loyal servant, working tirelessly to create freedom, opportunity, and security. The difference between those trapped by money and those empowered by it isn't how much they earn, it's how they manage it. Philosophically, this principle is about mastery over your resources. Wealth is a reflection of control. Control over your time, your decisions, and above all, your money. A master knows that money's true. Power is in its ability to serve goals, to multiply, and to open doors that wages alone cannot. When money is your servant, you don't have to trade hours for dollars constantly. Instead, your dollars are strategically positioned to generate more dollars, creating a compounding effect that grows wealth without the constant pressure of work. Conversely, when money masters you, no amount will ever feel sufficient. You will always chase, never create, always react, never plan. Practically, the habit is simple but requires consistency. Automate your savings and investments. Decide in advance what portion of your income will go to long-term wealth building before you ever see your paycheck. Set up automatic transfers into investment accounts, retirement plans, or other income-generating assets. This removes emotion from financial decisions and ensures your money works even when your discipline falters. By doing this, you're no longer negotiating with yourself every month about whether to save or spend. You've already directed your dollars to do their job. Over time, this automation creates a system where your wealth grows quietly, predictably, and powerfully. I recall a time when I relied on willpower alone to save and invest. I often failed, distracted by temptations and daily expenses. When I implemented automation, the change was immediate. My savings grew without stress, investments compounded, and I could focus on creating more value instead of constantly worrying about money. My money became my servant, performing work on my behalf, even while I slept or traveled. The lesson is simple. Treat money as a servant, not a master. Automate savings and investments, remove emotion from your finances, and direct every dollar towards your long-term goals. When you do this consistently, you free yourself from the tyranny of living paycheck to paycheck and step into the life of control, opportunity, and financial freedom that money was always meant to serve. Lifestyle creep is the silent killer of wealth. Think about it. Many people experience raises, bonuses, or promotions, and with each increase, their expenses quietly grow to match. They buy a slightly bigger car, dine out a little more often, or upgrade the gadgets they don't really need. Before long, their new income disappears as quickly as it arrived. The tragedy is that earning more can make you feel richer while leaving you no closer to real wealth. True wealth isn't about how much money flows in. It's about how much you retain and use strategically. The wealthy understand this. They know that every increment in income is an opportunity to build wealth, not to inflate consumption. Philosophically, this principle is about discipline and delayed gratification. Money is powerful when it compounds. The moment you allow lifestyle to expand alongside every raise, you lose the ability to harness that compounding effect. Wealth grows in the gap between what you earn and what you spend, not by chasing immediate satisfaction. When your income increases, your responsibility increases even faster. You must consciously decide to maintain or even tighten spending while channeling the difference into assets that generate future income. That is how freedom is created. Practically, the habit is straightforward but counterintuitive. Keep your expenses flat for at least 6 to 12 months after every income increase. Don't upgrade your home, car, or lifestyle immediately. Instead, direct the extra funds into savings, investments, or income-generating assets. Automate this process so that the money automatically flows into wealth-building accounts before you have the chance to spend it. This creates a protective buffer, allowing your money to grow quietly, steadily, and predictably over time. I remember when I received one of my first significant raises. The temptation to upgrade everything was overwhelming, but I made a conscious decision to live as I had before, keeping my lifestyle unchanged. That decision allowed me to invest the difference, and within a few years, the returns from those investments far exceeded the value of the raise itself. It was a clear lesson. Controlling lifestyle creep is not deprivation, it is preparation for financial freedom. The takeaway is simple. Resist the urge to inflate your lifestyle with every income increase. Keep expenses consistent. Invest the extra wisely, and let your wealth grow in the silence of discipline. When you do this consistently, you transform each paycheck, bonus, and raise into a powerful tool for long-term prosperity instead of allowing it to slip away unnoticed. Never spend tomorrow's income today. These words may seem simple, but they carry a lifetime of financial wisdom. The truth is, too many people allow themselves to live beyond their present means, borrowing against the future, in hopes that tomorrow will somehow cover today's indulgences. Credit cards, loans, and deferred payments can make us feel prosperous now, but in reality, we are chaining our future freedom to present desire. The wealthy understand that every dollar borrowed today costs more than its face value because it diminishes the power of compounding, drains resources, and creates stress. Real wealth is built by respecting the time value of money, understanding that future earnings are not free money, they are commitments. Philosophically, this principle is about self-discipline and foresight. It is a mindset that separates those who chase fleeting gratification from those who build enduring prosperity. Money is a tool, and how we use it determines whether it serves us or enslaves us. When you spend tomorrow's income today, you relinquish control, surrendering the ability to invest, save, and create opportunities for true financial freedom. The rich know that restraint today compounds into abundance tomorrow. Living below your means is not deprivation, it is empowerment. It's the conscious choice to prioritize long-term freedom over short-term satisfaction. Practically, this habit begins with awareness and structure. Track every expense and categorize what is essential versus what is discretionary. Establish a rule. If you cannot pay for it today from money you already have, don't buy it. Avoid financing lifestyle items like vacations, gadgets, or luxury items that offer immediate pleasure but no lasting value. Instead, direct your income toward investments and savings that appreciate over time. Build an emergency fund to avoid future surprises, and keep debt reserved strictly for appreciating or income-producing assets rather than consumption. Automating savings and investments ensures that your future wealth grows consistently without being undermined by impulse spending. I recall my own early years when I faced the temptation to use credit for conveniences and luxuries I couldn't afford. By resisting that urge and committing to live within my present means, I was able to channel that income into small investments. Over time, these investments multiplied, giving me freedom that far exceeded the temporary satisfaction of debt-financed consumption. The lesson is clear. Respect the boundary between today's earnings and tomorrow's promises. Avoid spending money you have yet to earn, live below your means, and let every dollar work toward building assets. By doing so, you preserve control over your financial destiny, ensuring that the wealth you create today will continue to serve you long into the future. Wealthy people master patience because compounding rewards the patient. These words hold a truth that too many overlook in the pursuit of instant gratification. In a world dominated by quick wins, flashy headlines, and get-rich-quick schemes, patience is a rare and undervalued virtue. Yet it is the patient who see their wealth grow exponentially over time. The principle is simple. Money, like a seed, must be planted, nurtured, and allowed to grow. Those who demand immediate returns often cut short the process, eroding their potential gains and learning little from the journey. The wealthy understand that true freedom and financial security are not built overnight. They are cultivated through deliberate, consistent, and patient actions. Philosophically, patience is about controlling impulses and embracing a long-term mindset. The impatient seek comfort today, spending and consuming to satisfy temporary desires, while the patient invests for tomorrow, building a foundation that generates enduring freedom. Compounding is not just a mathematical formula, it is a life principle. When money is allowed to grow over time, interest, dividends, and appreciation create a snowball effect that accelerates wealth in ways that a single large windfall never can. Patience transforms small, consistent contributions into significant outcomes, and in doing so, it shapes character as much as it builds assets. Practically, mastering patience begins with mindset and action. Commit to holding investments for years, not weeks. Avoid the temptation to sell at the first sign of volatility or minor market dips. Diversify into assets that compound naturally, such as dividend-paying stocks, rental properties, or long-term bonds. Set clear financial goals and remind yourself that short-term discomfort is the cost of long-term freedom. Automate contributions to your investment accounts to make patience effortless. Each month, your money is working for you without emotional interference. Keep a record of your progress and periodically review it, not to react to minor fluctuations, but to appreciate the steady growth over time. I remember the early stages of my own investments when the urge to liquidate or chase hot opportunities tempted me. By staying disciplined, continuing contributions, and allowing compounding to work its quiet magic, I witnessed small investments transform into sources of true financial freedom. The journey required restraint, focus, and trust in the process, but the results were undeniable. Patience, then, is not passive waiting. It is active, disciplined, and informed commitment to growth over time. By mastering patience, you let compounding do the heavy lifting, creating wealth that sustains you for decades. Remember, the impatient buy comfort today, the patient buy freedom tomorrow. If you want to be wealthy, stop copying the habits of the broke. These words cut straight to the heart of why so many people remain trapped in financial struggle despite earning a decent income. Wealth is not only a matter of opportunity or luck, it is a reflection of your daily habits, choices, and behaviors. The poor mimic behaviors that guarantee short-term comfort but long-term struggle. Impulsive spending, ignoring savings, avoiding financial education, and chasing trends rather than building systems. If you continue to replicate these behaviors, your results will inevitably mirror them. To achieve lasting wealth, you must consciously stop copying the habits that lead to scarcity and start modeling the patterns of those who have built financial freedom. Philosophically, this principle is about environment, influence, and deliberate action. We are creatures of habit, and our routines shape the trajectory of our lives. Wealthy individuals think differently about time, money, and risk. They delay gratification, prioritize investments over consumption, and continually educate themselves. They understand that small, consistent actions compounded over years create massive results. By observing and adopting their methods, you are not just copying behavior, you are internalizing a mindset that drives success. This is not about imitation for show. It is about understanding principles, adapting them to your circumstances, and practicing them consistently. Practically, start by auditing your habits. List the financial routines you engage in daily and honestly assess which ones align with wealth creation and which ones perpetuate struggle. Are you saving consistently, tracking your expenses, and educating yourself about investing? Or are you spending impulsively, neglecting to plan, and ignoring opportunities for growth? Next, seek mentors, read books, and study the lives of people who have created lasting wealth. Notice their discipline with money, their focus on passive income streams, and the way they allocate their time. Then, begin modeling these habits deliberately. Set measurable goals, like saving a percentage of income before spending, investing in appreciating assets, and avoiding debt for consumables. Track progress and adjust as you learn. In my own journey, I saw early on that the behaviors of successful people were vastly different from those around me. By committing to study their routines, emulate their discipline, and apply the lessons to my life, I created a foundation that allowed me to grow beyond a paycheck. The process required patience, consistency, and sometimes going against social norms, but the results were transformative. Ultimately, Wealth is the sum of the habits you practice daily. Stop copying the habits of the broke. Observe, learn, and model the patterns of those who have built freedom and financial security. Your choices today are the seeds of your prosperity tomorrow. Comfort is the enemy of financial growth. Think about that for a moment. Many people live their entire lives inside comfort zones, telling themselves that stability is enough. They settle for predictable paychecks, small raises, and the illusion of security. But true financial growth, real wealth, never comes from staying comfortable. It comes from pushing yourself, taking calculated risks, and doing what most people won't do because it feels uncomfortable. Comfort is convenient, but it is also costly. Every moment you choose ease over challenge, you are choosing the status quo over prosperity. Wealth is built not by following the path everyone else walks, but by daring to walk the path that tests your skills, patience, and discipline. Philosophically, growth and comfort are opposites. If your goal is financial freedom, then your life must occasionally feel like a stretch. You must embrace learning that challenges your intellect, investments that challenge your confidence, and business opportunities that challenge your courage. The rich understand that discomfort is temporary, but the rewards it produces can last a lifetime. They don't avoid challenges, they seek them, knowing that each calculated risk is a step toward independence. In essence, the pursuit of wealth is a process of becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that is where results are born. Practically, start by setting financial goals that push beyond your current limits. Perhaps it's creating a new income stream, investing in a sector you've never touched, or negotiating for higher returns on what you already own. The key is that these goals stretch you mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically. Then, break these goals into smaller, actionable steps so the challenge feels manageable but still requires effort. For example, if your goal is to increase your passive income by 50%, begin by researching high-yield investments, then test small allocations, and gradually scale as confidence and knowledge grow. Surround yourself with people who encourage growth rather than settle for comfort, because your environment shapes your decisions. In my own life, I learned early that taking on projects outside my comfort zone, like public speaking, entrepreneurship, and sales, was uncomfortable at first. I stumbled, I failed, and I faced uncertainty. But each challenge built skill, confidence, and eventually income. Those moments of discomfort became the catalyst for financial growth I could never have achieved by staying in familiar routines. Ultimately, if you want wealth that lasts, you must embrace challenges that discomfort you. Set goals that stretch. Take actions that require courage. And understand that true financial freedom comes not from comfort, but from the willingness to grow beyond it. Your daily habits are compounding, whether for you or against you. This is one of the most overlooked truths in wealth building. Many people think that wealth comes from a sudden windfall, a promotion, or an investment tip. In reality, your financial future is determined far more by the choices you make day in and day out. Every small decision, what you spend, what you save, how you educate yourself, either adds to your prosperity or slowly erodes it. Habits, no matter how tiny, are like invisible compounding interest. Left unchecked, poor habits accumulate against you. Nurtured intentionally, good habits accumulate exponentially in your favor. Philosophically, this is the essence of personal responsibility. Wealth is not a matter of luck. It is the result of disciplined, repeated actions. If you invest consistently, read regularly, track your spending, and seek opportunities for growth, Those actions compound quietly in the background. On the other hand, indulgence in small, daily financial leaks, like impulse purchases, procrastination, or ignoring investment education, grows over time into significant setbacks. The rich understand that consistency beats intensity, that a steady drip of good decisions creates reservoirs of wealth. It's not the dramatic moves that define financial freedom. It's the disciplined daily routines that prepare you for it. Practically, start by auditing your routines. Record your daily habits for a week and categorize them as wealth building or wealth draining. Do you check your investments or financial news consistently? That's compounding for you. Do you order coffee every morning without tracking it? That's compounding against you. Once identified, eliminate or reduce the behaviors that drain resources and time, and reinforce those that grow knowledge, income, and assets. For instance, automate savings and investments to remove the temptation to spend first. Replace idle scrolling on social media with 30 minutes of reading about investing, personal finance, or entrepreneurship. Schedule daily or weekly reviews to track progress and gradually adjust your habits to support your long-term vision. In my own life, I noticed that early in my career. The tiny habit of saving a percentage of every paycheck, even when money was tight, eventually led to the funds I used to start my first business. Conversely, years of ignoring small, unnecessary expenses had once created bottlenecks that slowed my progress. Over time, cultivating positive routines and eliminating financial leaks became the engine of lasting wealth. Remember, wealth is not created in a single transaction. It is compounded daily, habit by habit. Audit your routines, embrace discipline, and let your actions work quietly but powerfully in your favor. The wealthy don't chase money, they attract it by solving bigger problems. Think about this carefully. Many people spend their lives running after money, thinking that if they work harder or longer, they'll finally reach wealth. But that approach is limited. Money is not a reward for effort alone. It is a reflection of the value you create. The larger the problem you solve, the greater the income and influence you will naturally attract. If you focus solely on the paycheck, you are chasing the tail instead of leading with purpose. The rich understand that money follows contribution. They stop chasing dollars and start solving challenges that matter to others. Philosophically, this is the mindset shift from scarcity to abundance. If you see money as finite, you scramble for every opportunity, often trading your time for limited returns. If you see money as a byproduct of value, you focus on expanding your capacity to serve. The richer your solutions, the more people, organizations, or industries benefit, and the wealth follows naturally. This is why some entrepreneurs, inventors, and investors seem to magnetically attract money. They focus on solving big problems, not counting coins. Solving problems creates leverage. One innovative idea can impact thousands or millions, creating income streams far beyond what any paycheck could offer. Practically, begin by identifying high-value problems in your sphere of influence. Listen to clients, customers, or communities. What are their pain points? What inefficiencies frustrate them? Once identified, develop skills, products, or services that address those needs. For example, in my early days, I noticed the gap in effective personal development education. By creating programs and systems that taught skills people needed to succeed, I wasn't chasing fees, I was solving a problem. The money came as a natural byproduct of the value delivered. Wealth strategies built on this principle involve scaling your solutions. Don't rely solely on trading your time for money. Build systems, digital products, or teams that extend your capacity to solve problems beyond your personal output. Reinvest in your knowledge and skills to tackle even bigger challenges over time. Seek opportunities where your unique expertise meets a significant unmet need. These are the arenas where lasting wealth is born. Remember, chasing money is exhausting, but solving problems creates fulfillment and freedom. The larger the problem you can solve, the more you will naturally attract wealth without being enslaved to a paycheck. Focus on contribution first, and the financial rewards will follow. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Take a moment to let that sink in. Many people think wealth requires extraordinary genius, rare opportunities, or strokes of luck. The truth is far simpler. Wealth is the natural outcome of small, consistent actions repeated over time. It's not about luck, it's about discipline. The people who achieve lasting financial freedom aren't the ones who work harder for 1 year. They are the ones who consistently make wise financial decisions day in and day out, month after month, year after year. Philosophically, this principle is rooted in compounding. Just as a tiny seed grows into a mighty tree over time, small, daily financial habits multiply into substantial wealth. A single investment may seem inconsequential, but repeated consistently and guided by a plan, it grows far beyond what a single big move ever could. Similarly, paying yourself first, saving before spending, and automating investments may feel mundane, but this steady discipline builds a fortress of financial security. It's in the repetition, not in the rare dramatic action, that wealth takes root. Practically, this starts with creating systems that make discipline automatic. Decide on a fixed percentage of your income to save and invest the moment you receive it. Automate this process so it happens without relying on willpower or emotion. Schedule monthly reviews to track progress and adjust allocations if necessary. Set up reminders for bill payments to avoid late fees. Track your net worth quarterly and evaluate investment returns annually. These small, consistent steps prevent drift and ensure momentum continues even when motivation wanes. Wealth strategies built on daily discipline also involve continuous improvement. Commit to learning something new about money, investments, or business every day. It could be reading a book, listening to a podcast, or reviewing market trends. Small increments of knowledge practiced daily build financial wisdom over time, just as consistently saving a small amount builds financial strength. Pair your learning with immediate application. Practice the strategies you study to turn knowledge into tangible results. Remember, financial miracles are rarely sudden. True wealth is earned quietly through patient, disciplined action. Each small step compounds into massive results. Don't underestimate the power of consistency, for this is what separates fleeting income from lasting prosperity. Simple disciplines, practiced every day, are the real secret to financial freedom. And every action you take today is a building block for your wealth tomorrow. As we come to the close of our time together, let me leave you with one simple truth. Wealth is not a matter of luck, inheritance, or sudden windfalls. Wealth is a matter of philosophy, discipline, and deliberate action. The difference between those who struggle paycheck to paycheck and those who live with freedom is not in the money they earn, it is in the mindset they embrace and the habits they practice consistently over time. Every choice you make today, no matter how small, is a seed that either builds your prosperity or erodes it. Think about this carefully. Most people spend their lives running after money, trading their hours for dollars, and wondering why freedom feels so distant. The wealthy don't chase money, they attract it by solving problems, creating value, and leveraging their time and resources intelligently. They understand that each dollar is a soldier that must be deployed wisely, that each hour is a tool to build knowledge, relationships, and opportunities. They focus not on immediate gratification, but on compounding wealth, skills, and influence over decades. Now, what we do with this knowledge matters far more than the knowledge itself. I urge you to take the principles you've learned today and apply them immediately. Write down your vision of financial freedom. Define the lifestyle, the income, and the legacy you want to leave. Break it down into concrete steps, starting with the habits you can practice today. Pay yourself first, invest consistently, guard your spending, surround yourself with the right mentors, and take action on the ideas you've been learning. Remember, clarity and action are the twin engines of wealth. Without either, even the best plan will falter. This is your invitation to change your life. Don't wait for another Monday, another raise, or another perfect moment. That moment is now. Decide that from today onward, you will take control of your money, your time, and your future. Treat every dollar as a soldier in your army of financial independence. Make learning a daily habit. Make discipline non-negotiable. And make action your constant companion. In the end, wealth is not about the size of your paycheck. It's about the size of your freedom. It's about waking up each morning and knowing that your choices, not your obligations, dictate your life. Apply these principles faithfully, and over time, you will find that financial freedom is not a dream. It is a reality you've created. So go forward with clarity, discipline, and persistence. Plant the seeds today that will bear fruit for decades. Wealth is built one habit, one decision, and one action at a time, and it begins with you.